So since today is the Friday of Labor Day weekend, and since many people normally do care about baseball, considering the fact that we are only a few weeks away from the season ending, I figured I would review the standings and talk about my opinion pretty much of how the season has been going so far. So, unfortunately, the Yankees can't seem to do anything right, as going into today, they are now 8.5 back of the Boston Red Sox. They were supposed to have gained another game, but apparently that's not what happened because they blew the lead last night. You can blame Dylan Betances. Yep. Numbers don't lie, everyone. It's very disappointing to see that. They should have won the game 7-5, but that's 7. Quickly highlight that number so you all can understand what I'm talking about. And MLB.com is really being a pain today. I apologize, everyone. Well, I'll put my who's over here. So that number is very important. Now, surprisingly, the Rays, they've been a little bit hot since the second half started. And they're not going to make the playoffs, but it's very good for them that they're going to finish the season above 500 if they keep playing like this. I mean, they've had some really surprising people on that team. In fact, last night they defeated the first-placed Atlanta Braves team, which will go to the National League as we go along here. This is obviously a joke. Worst team in baseball is still the Baltimore Orioles. 52.5 games back. 299 win percentage. And the record is 40. Once again, this is really being a pain in the neck today. 40-94. That is a remarkable bad season. Doesn't it remind you of the 1962 Mets? They only won like 30-something games, 40-something games. We'll get to the Mets obviously later on, but the Yankees are just going to have to focus on a wild card spot, and I'll go in depth on the Yankees in this video, but that's where they're going to have to end up focusing on, just keeping that first wild card spot, and we'll get to the wild card, of course, as we go along here. But I got to talk about the West. The West has gotten a little bit interesting because guess what's been happening in the West? That's right. The Oakland A's, the surprising team this year that everybody thought was going to be awful. In fact, we all thought the West was decided by Houston. Believe it or not, Oakland is still in the race for first place because they are now 2.5 back of the Houston Astros. So we got to keep an eye on that race because I believe Houston... Actually, no, the series is over. Now I remember. So Houston and Oakland have had their battle. Now it's up to them to decide their own destiny at this point. Lord, the Central Indians. I don't know. I know they have a magic number to clinch right now. I think it's 20-something. But from what I've been able to do the math, they should wrap up the Central probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to assume that they will wrap it up, and I think they're going to be the first team. Honestly, that will be the first team to clinch a division. Boston, we don't really need to get into that. There's only, 20-something games left. I know it's below 30 by now, but the Yankees are probably on pace for 95 wins, maybe more. It's possible, but we'll have to see that because the Red Sox are winning 100 games by next week. So, yeah, now we're going to go to the National League, which the National League, who's going to get to 100 wins in the National League? It might be the Cubs. I'll get into my reasoning why for that. But the Braves have certainly hit the cruise control for the Eastern Division as pretty much they have a 3-game lead on the Phillies. Philadelphia has gained a game. I think they're what? No, they haven't won 2 in a row, right? So they have a crucial series coming up against the Cubs this weekend, which I will be keeping an eye on. Which I would normally in a million years I would never care to think about a Philly Cubs series. I'm like, okay, who cares? I mean, Washington would have normally cruised in the division by now, but shockingly, when you look at the numbers here, the way I see this division going, the Braves and the Phillies have to decide their own destiny. I don't think the division is decided yet. It would have to take Atlanta to have a big win streak and Philadelphia to go on a downfall to see if the Braves would win the division, which Braves have had a terrific season. Nobody expected them to play like this. I mean, I certainly thought the Mets were going to do good, which I'll get to them in just a second here. But the Braves are in the driver's seat right now. They only know they lost 2 in a row. They could get back into the driver's seat completely and take full control of the gas pedal and win that division. Now we'll go to the Cubs. Go to them quickly before I want to go into the Mets, because I don't want to lose track here. This Central's gotten interesting because now you have 3 teams chasing the wild card. So it's gotten interesting, to say the least. Pirates are done. Reds you don't need to talk about, but the Cubs have gotten hot at the right time. They've had a great second half, as I would expect from the Cubs. They are going to make the playoffs, but the National League's going to be open. I'll get to the West before just a second here. Now about the Mets. We'll get to the Mets right now. 59-74. So let me think about this for a sec. They're playing the Giants this weekend at AT&T Park. 59-74. It's possible they could win 73 games. I could see that happening. They are about, if you do the numbers correctly, 15 games about under 500. Yeah, right. So that would be the number you'd have to add up right there. So I'm just confirming who the worst team in the league is right now. So it's still the Orioles, right? So the Mets are one of the top 5 worst. You want to put the number, well, maybe in the top 10. But the only thing that's saving the Mets season as a whole is the remarkable numbers Jacob deGrom has pulled out, which is very remarkable. And I'll get to Jacob deGrom's numbers in just a second. I have the ERA on my cell phone, so I'll quickly mention what the ERA is right after I talk about the West. So, Diamondbacks, they've had a surprising season too. Rockies have had a surprising season. Listen, don't call me crazy for saying this, but I still think the Dodgers are going to win the division. I think Arizona and Colorado are fool's gold. I just see the Dodgers having an amazing September. Now, crucial series coming up this weekend. I think they can sweep the Diamondbacks. It's possible. If Dodger fans, this is the one weekend your team needs you. You need to get to Dodger Stadium. Make sure you root for them, because I still want my Dream World Series to happen. Even if the Yankees make the wild card and if we get healthy, we can go on a run like last year. It's certainly possible. So, yes, I could still see the Dodgers winning that division. I just hope they do, because it would just be very sad to not see the Dodgers in the playoffs because they had high expectations. Now, even though they lost last night to Arizona proved why they were a good team. But I'm hoping the Dodgers can come back this weekend. And who knows? Maybe something good happens to them. Maybe something good will happen. So I'll just pull up the ERA for DeGrom right now on my cell phone. I'm sorry I can't pull it up on the computer at the moment. Alright, so according to BaseballReference.com, his ERA is 1.68. So that's the best in all of baseball this season. Don't get fooled by Max Scherzer's number. I certainly expect DeGrom to win the... I expect him to win the Cy Young in the National League. Stats leaders, if you want to get more in depth about that, I just think even if with an 8-8 record, you have to look at how many innings DeGrom can pretty much go through. He can eat you a lot of innings, right? He eats you, 5 or 6 innings, and yet his team can't get him run support. I'm trying to get the number for Scherzer here, just to prove to you how crazy to even see here. So I got the pitching stats on my phone. I'm going to tell you right now, 1.68 is remarkable. In the American League, Sale's going to win the Cy Young. I don't know. I mean, is it possible Blake Snell from the Rays could win it? Maybe. I don't know. Scherzer, you look at the numbers, 16-6. I'm only looking at it from ERA. I'm only looking at it from an ERA perspective. But remarkably, Scherzer has more strikeouts than DeGrom. So, that is surprising. So, I'll quickly I'll give my predictions for the award winners right now, just as of September 1st. And I'll make a final prediction at the end when we go into the playoffs. Right now, my National League Cy Young Award winner would be Jacob DeGrom. My American League winner, it's a tie for me between Blake Snell and Chris Sale. I need more time to see who gets more wins. Because right now, Snell has 4 more wins more than Sale does. So, it's a tie for me between Chris Sale and Blake Snell. Now, batting, who's going to win the coveted MVP awards? Well, I'm going to have to give the award right now to Mookie Betts. And you know why I'm giving him that award? Because he's tearing it up. Now, JD Martinez, he has 39 home runs. So, it's a close one between JD Martinez and Mookie Betts, 2 guys in the same team. Jose Altuve, he's certainly having a bad season, even though he does have a 329 average. In the National League, I don't know. It's a close one for me between, I'm trying to think right here for a second. I'm just trying to get you, see, this is what I don't understand. I can't get you an accurate number here. Here we go. Alright, so in the National League, right now, I would probably give the award to Christian Yelich, just because he has a 316 average. I'm trying to come up with the numbers. And he has 26 home runs, so I would have to give it to Yelich right now. Freeman could catch up. Freeman had a good first half, but he's slowly slumping in the second half, because remember, he had an injury. So, yeah, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of that. So again, MVP right now, the tie between Mookie Betts and JD Martinez. But in the National League, my clear winner right now would be Christian Yelich from the Brewers. Pitching, for me, I would have to say, again, in the American League, it's a close one between Snell and Sale. The National League, has to be DeGrom. You have to award the guy with the lowest ERA. Now we'll take a look at wild card standings. The Yankees are up 4.5. Interesting to look that they will be playing the Mariners. Right now the Cardinals are tearing it up. They're having a terrific second half. Milwaukee is trying to keep that second wild card. The Brewers are certainly a hit-or-miss team. I will admit that. But we'll have to see how this ends up, because I still think the wild card's open in the National League. In fact, this year, it's a widely open National League. I think anybody can win it. I'm not pointing a clear-cut favorite right now, but I'm just saying for the fact that the National League is open in the playoffs. The American League team to beat right now would have to be the Red Sox. I know I'm a Yankee fan, but hear me out on this. Boston just has everything going right for them. If you don't beat the Red Sox, who are you going to beat? No one. So here is your matchups today if the season were to end. Wild card games in the American League would be Yankees playing Oakland. Yankees, of course, would host that game. National League, the Cardinals would host the Brewers. So that would mean today the 2-3 matchups would be Cubs playing Diamondbacks, and the 2-3 in the American League would be Cleveland playing Houston, which honestly should have happened last year. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing the Indians beat the Astros. I wouldn't mind it. Maybe it would be an easier path for the Yankees to get to the World Series, but yeah, that's how the matchups would be in the playoffs. I know for a fact the season does end on September 30th, so at the end of the month, I'm going to see if we have any interesting developments from the beginning of September. Because today is the non-waiver trade deadline, and then tomorrow is rosters going to 40 men. So we'll talk about some important notes right now for you. So this was last night's lineup. And McCutchen, we're going to talk about him later on. So you look at the Yankees right now. You look at the average for... I'm trying to get you an average for Stanton. Yeah, 277. As I said, that's a long way to catch up to Mookie Betts or JD Martinez or Jose Altuve. You're way behind on that. So, 33 home runs. Maybe they look at it and they'll say, well, not enough home runs as JD Martinez has. Because Martinez could hit, 50 home runs? Possibly. Giancarlo's on pace for maybe 45. Andujar is having a terrific rookie season. Rookie of the year right now could be somebody from the Yankees, just because I could see it happening. The Yankees are getting hot at the right time, which is very good. But, again, they've been hit or miss. They've had a mediocre August. But they are hot in the wild card. So that's what sort of matters at this point. But we got to talk about injuries. We have got to talk about injuries. Quickly tonight, Luis Severino will be pitching against Jordan Zimmermann. We'll take a look at the lineups for tonight. Severino's ERA is 3.27. Honestly, right now, the best pitcher on the team, in my opinion, ERA-wise, would be Severino. Sonny Gray, they don't know what to do with him. Yes, so here are all the pitchers that are scheduled to come up tomorrow from the minors. You have Luis Sessa, Chance Adams, Domingo Germán, and Jonathan Lostout. I can't pronounce his name. I apologize. Alright. Let me see what we got here. Right, we want to go to the next tab for you. So next up, we're going to look at the DL. This is very important. So we have some news on the DL. Didi Gregorius. Here's the word from yesterday. He rested Thursday rather than do some more on-field work in his rehab from a heel injury. Manager Aaron Boone said that he wouldn't commit to Didi returning Monday for the series against the Athletics. It doesn't sound like it's being ruled out. And it's a very tough stretch coming up because Oakland could actually gain ground for the first wild card. The Mariners could maybe gain some ground. I'm very nervous about the next series. Very, very nervous, to say the least. Judge. He still isn't ready to swing a bat. So, most likely he could come back in September. Gary Sanchez. Very good news about him. Aaron Boone has confirmed that he will make the 40-man roster on Saturday. So he's eligible to come off the DL. So that would most likely mean the Yankees do get their catcher back, which is very good because you need Gary Sanchez. He is a very key role in the team. I apologize about that, everyone. Other players scheduled to come up. Tyler Wade, yes, he's scheduled. High A Tampa. Alright, so Clint Frazier is scheduled to come back in September as well. So that's some very good news. According to this, Judge played catch yesterday. Alright, so Didi took grounders at shortstop on Wednesday. Right, so he's in Triple-A, and I think what I heard, he did hit a home run in Triple-A, so that's good news. Now we're going to take a look at some Chapman. How's he doing? So he's possibly coming back next month. And there is one guy in the whole minor league system I'm excited to see coming up. Right, Montgomery's done. He's not coming up till next year. George Contos, he could get called up. And there's a lot of possibilities what happens with this roster. But right now, Gleyber Torres is the most valuable person in the farm system. He did, of course, get called up, and honestly, he's tearing it up, and that's why he could win Rookie of the Year or Miguel Andujar. Now, Justice Sheffield. This is very good news. That he is expected to make 3 or 4 relief appearances before joining the Major League roster around September 1st. So this is a very big deal that the top prospect in the Yankees pitching system gets called up. I'm very excited to see him. Now we're going to talk about last news of the day. Yankees officially get Andrew McCutchen for 2 minor leaguers. The Yankees have traded with the Giants for veteran Andrew McCutchen. Became official today after it was reported last night. The sides had agreed to a deal in principle, claiming the outfielder off waivers. The Giants are getting 2 Yankee minor leaguers, infielder Abitel Avilo and right-handed pitcher Juan de Pola. The teams also agreed to split the roughly $2.4 million remaining on McCutchen's contract. So again, it's very important that you have a guy like this in your lineup. So McCutchen is hitting .255 this season with 15 home runs and 55 RBIs. The 31-year-old played exclusively in right field with the Giants. So it's possible you can change the lineup every day. I'm not saying Hicks doesn't have to play the outfield, but it's very important that you have a guy like this. You need him because you don't know what could happen with Judge. It's as a protection. But Andrew McCutchen is going to be a Yankee. That's a very big deal. Alright? So, that's how I see baseball on Labor Day weekend. Once again, the Yankees just have to focus on the wild card. Big series are coming up against Oakland and Seattle. Very important 2 series coming up after we play the Tigers. This is nothing to take as a joke. It's a serious series coming up. You normally would have thought that, okay, no big deal. We already wrapped up the division. We thought everything was going to be fine. We don't care about playing Seattle and Oakland. Well, it's a very big deal. Shouldn't be taking this too lightly. Andrew McCutchen is going to have some high expectations. I know that getting traded to a new team with the last few weeks of the season ending up is kind of awkward, but you have to accommodate. That's why I wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, take care.